let's go back to the deponent list, and you'll see that we've got a yellow dot, or not yellow, a blue dot next to Elizabeth Patrick that designates that if you hover over it, that we have created plaintiff initial designation types for here. But let's go over into Harvey Fields, where we can see that we've got a number of other ones as well, so that we could go ahead and create a report. So let me create a report. Let's see. What I'm going to do is go to reports, and let's talk about a couple of these. So the line summary report, based on what you choose, whether it's a designation type or a transcript issue, it's going to create a report of just the text, not even a text. It's just going to be kind of like that CSV that we just exported out, where it's going to say page start, line start, page end, line end for that specific type of designation or transcript issue. So we're not going to do that. The full PDF, this is going to export out. It's going to highlight the issues that we look at or that we select, but it's also going to have all of the text from the entire transcript for all 205 pages. And I kind of don't really see the point of going through and denoting what you think is important and what the opposing side thinks is important and getting rid of everything else. When, like, why would you want to review everything that was not marked as important by either side? So I personally like, instead of wasting paper and having 205 pages, I like doing the summary PDF that's only going to show what has been marked by either side. And so let's create a report and see what it looks like. So let's see what the plaintiff initially said and what the defense initially said, and where they overlap and where they don't. And let's actually include the notes if we wanted to, just to kind of see what that looks like. Include background highlighting. This is where it's important to make sure that these are different colors. This is blue, this is red. And then I don't mess with the margins. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit export. And what this is gonna do is open up a PDF view that says the name of the deponent, the volume, and the date that it was taken, and then a clip saying this is a summary proceeding with highlighted clips generated at this point in time, a screenshot of this time when we created it at 12:28 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then a little legend showing that the blue represents the plaintiff initial designations and the red represents the defense initial designations. So I scroll down here and we see that it starts at page 5. Here is the note that was created by the defense initial, page 5, line 2. It says defense initial, this what we think, which isn't the greatest grammar in the world, but this what they think. And you can see that the plaintiff designation type goes from, instead of starting at line 2, it starts at line 3 and only goes to line 14, whereas the defense initial goes from page 5, line 2 to page 5, line 28. So you can see the overlap. Same thing over here. Instead, it's swapped, where the plaintiff believes there's more important than the defense does. And here is a plaintiff initial note, Dr. Fields, because apparently this is where Dr. Fields comes in and starts sharing his opinion. But you'll notice that it skips from page 5 to line 10, to page 10, because there was nothing on pages 6, 7, 8, or 9 that was marked as important. We go from page 10 to page 12, to 13, to 14, to 25, and it looks like that's all just marked by the plaintiff. And then here is something at the end. So this is something that you can create. I've heard stories of clients taking these sorts of reports to the judge and them being very impressed and saying, why wouldn't everybody use this software to generate reports like this to make it easy for me to see where there's differences and where there's not. And so I always like hearing stories like that from clients where it's like actually being used and makes their lives easier. Let me go back and talk about a couple of other report types. The summary text, this is just going to be, if you go ahead and export this out, so for plaintiff initial and defense initial, this is going to be a text file that copies over the actual text of that document. And so this can be very helpful for if you need to copy the text directly into like an outline, you can go ahead and very easily, instead of creating a PDF report and having to screenshot, you can go ahead and do this, copy and paste. So that's what I would use that for. And then the last one I want to talk about is the condensed PDF, which is just going to be like, if you've ever had a PowerPoint presentation and you didn't want to print out each slide individually for each page because you wanted to share or save some paper, you can go ahead and have 4 pages of the transcript to each one page. So in this case, it would just be like 50 pages, just over 50 pages for 205 pages worth of documents. The other ones, not really going to go into, unless you are working with OnQ, then you can go ahead and export things out into OnQ summary that works with another platform. But for our purposes, I think that we've gone over everything for creating a report for a single transcript. So one of the things I want to point out here, let me go ahead and open up a new tab with this litigation database. And I mentioned the transcript issues. If I go to deponents, we can see that this database has been marked up for a bunch of different transcripts. And if I wanted to run a report across multiple deponents to be able to see where that transcript issue shows up within those deponents or within those depositions, I can do so very easily by going to Open Quick Links. And again, I'm probably not going to touch the designations here because it doesn't really matter to me. I could run a report that way, but I don't really need to see what was important across all of the deponents. I want to see my internal issues and see where was bad faith mentioned within these deponents. And when I click on this, it filters for only the deponents where bad faith was mentioned. And so at this point, I could go ahead and run a clip summary report PDF. When I open this up, it says a summary report for bad faith.pdf. Summary proceeding with highlighted clips, printed 1/27/2022 at this point in time. And then it says Harvey Fields Volume 1. So it starts out with the first deponent, starting on page 2. This is where bad faith was first mentioned. Then page 3, page 13, page 20. And then it moves to the next deponent, James J. Morgan, and where that was mentioned not until page 100, then 105, 106. And then Elizabeth Patrick. And so again, this is what you could use. This is a type of report that you could use to find what different themes come up across multiple deponents. And you can kind of use this for getting the whole picture from multiple points of view, but also maybe for perhaps impeachment purposes for specific individuals that you believe may be not being entirely truthful. So I think that that is a helpful thing. And again, that's why I would distinguish the difference between transcript issues and designations. But again, they do act the same way. If you've noticed when you're generating reports, whether it's across deponents or within the same deposition, they act the same exact way, whether it's creating them, creating reports, creating those designations within the actual transcript. They all function the same way. I just like having that distinguishing difference where designations are externally facing, whereas transcript issues are internally facing for your own team.